The last Vikings talk, though, is the big one, the one everybody else is talking about, but you won't get any better commentary than us here at the Glaziar Gambol, which is the Jim Harbaugh news and Kevin O'Connell. Jim Harbaugh
/ Pat Graham
/ there was a couple other people, / D'Amico Ryan / there was a couple guys that it was actually rumored that Vic Fangio, it was Vic Fangio and then Pep something were the guys that Jim Harbaugh was already talking to about bringing to the Vikings,
right?
Because he thought he was going to get the position, which is the whole thing. Jim Harbaugh came in for an interview on National Signing Day because he was so confident that he was going to get the job with the Vikings that he forgot the National Signing Day and decided to go to the Vikings to do his interview. It didn't go well. So he interviewed with them for 9 hours. He arrived
same amount of time Pat Graham did as well. It's kind of like a Minnesota like tradition almost. They take them through all the things, they show them all the things.
Well, and I would assume most teams
they
do
go
that.
they go to they have a specific restaurant they go to, Manny's, I think.
Manny's Steakhouse. Yep.
Yeah.
It's extremely pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have always wanted to go there, but I've looked at their menu. I can't. It's a place I can't afford.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they take him to Manny's. They buy him dinner. They drive him around in a dark black SUV with tinted windows and a driver that's usually the same driver every time. I've recognized him at least in every video the Vikings post, so it looks like it's the same. Like he must be a Vikings driver. It's probably the Wilf's personal driver or the team, something like that, but. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh brought in 9 hours, and apparently around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, it had been going well all day. Harbaugh came in thinking he was going to be getting the position. So he actually came in expecting it to be like, we're excited to have you, like one of those sorts of situations. And then apparently after the first like hour and a half, he was somebody close to him reported that he was like, oh man, I don't have the position. This is like a straight up this is a second interview. He didn't realize that. And then apparently around 3 p.m. the interview turned sour and both sides realized that it wasn't going to work. This is where it gets muddy. This is where some people are reporting that Harbaugh pulled out around that time after that happened. And others are reporting that the Vikings told him they will not be offering the position at that time. Everybody knows that something went wrong around 3 in the afternoon, but it is not being accurately reported which side decided to cancel it. I'm just going to say if that's really the case, both sides mutually determined it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's any malice or anything. Like Jim Harbaugh say like Kwesi's a rock star or something like that, and like
that's where the relationship came from, was him and Kwesi. And the Michigan already commented saying they're elated that Jim Harbaugh will be coming back, that there is a good chance they do give him an extension. However, what they want is they want to bar him from going into the NFL in their contract wording, because they said they don't want to deal with him every year entertaining NFL jobs. Harbaugh came out stating that this will not be an every year thing. He won't be listening to NFL jobs every year, but it doesn't seem like the Michigan brass truly believes him.
Sure.
So they want to reword his contract to stop him from doing what happened this offseason, which, built up a lot of buzz. A lot of people were excited. I was looking at a survey of 30,000 people, and just about 60% of them said that the Vikings should have hired Jim Harbaugh. I think that's just because Jim Harbaugh makes it so that you are in win now as opposed to a rebuild. Sure. That means you're keeping a lot more of your veterans, that sort of thing, or you're getting rid of more of your veterans, actually. So I think that's just what a lot of people want. They're like, oh, he's won a lot, so if we want to win, we sign Harbaugh. I honestly, when I think about it, I think the Vikings dodged a bullet a little bit. I think Harbaugh would have been good, but he's not the direction that the team was stating they wanted to go.
Out of the, say, 4 finalists, if you say Harbaugh, Pat Graham, Raheem Morris, and Kevin O'Connell's really the one that they kind of are the fans, and I guess you could say Vikings brass wanted a young, offensive-minded head coach.
If we're being 100% honest, the fans, including us, we didn't know shit about any of these people.
Yeah, we don't know any.
3 months ago.
We don't know any of them. Well, honestly, like we could be like, oh yeah, we've seen what they've done, we've seen what they can do, we know they former players, whatever, but we don't know shit at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. And then some people were like, well, Kevin O'Connell doesn't call the plays. So Kevin O'Connell, by the way, now that Harbaugh is out, the Vikings plan on offering Kevin O'Connell the head coaching position. Expect him to be hired the Monday after the Super Bowl or that week. I say give him time to celebrate, but it sounds like he'll be hired immediately after the Super Bowl, or at least offered the position. If he doesn't accept it, boy, that's going to be a whirlwind. But
probably Pat Graham at that point then.
But how about Mike McDaniels? I'm surprised they never even gave him an interview, but Mike McDaniel will be a coach eventually. What I have heard, though, is that Kevin O'Connell doesn't call plays. That's a big issue. Everybody's like, oh, he doesn't call plays. Why do we want him? And
everyone wanted Eric Bieniemy. Everyone wanted Eric Bieniemy.
It won. So Andy Reid about Eric Bieniemy stated that Eric Bieniemy does call plays. But then in the last game of the year, Andy Reid said he gave them bad plays when he gave Patrick Mahomes bad plays in that last drive. So kind of let it slip. Actually, I am the one calling the plays. Eric probably is just the one sending them in, that sort of thing. So yeah, everybody wanted Eric Bieniemy, even though he didn't call plays. Kevin O'Connell doesn't call plays. I have no issue with it. And people are like, oh, you're just hiring from the McVay tree. We had a video earlier this year talking about why I think simply hiring from successful trees doesn't work. I might be proven wrong considering it's Sean McVay versus one of his former assistants in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So it's the McVay tree is the only tree in the Super Bowl right now. Kevin O'Connell used to work for Bill Belichick. You know, he's worked with good coaches and he's worked in a successful offense. He's going to bring a new mentality.
He's not necessarily he's not the OC here either. Like if he were to be he's our head coach. So
exactly. So he's going to have to hire an OC anyway.
Head coach. Right.
Absolutely. So. And that OC can still be somebody like a Mike McDaniel, maybe a position coach that O'Connell's worked with before. O'Connell used to be a player, which is always a plus.
And fun fact, him and Kirk have almost the identical completion percentage. Kirk has like 66.9% completion percentage over his career.
Nice.
And Kevin O'Connell has thrown 6 passes and he's 4 for 6. So he has roughly 66.6%.
So he's basically the same level of quarterback as Kirk anyway. So Kirk will have to respect him.
Exactly.
And then it sounds like the defensive coordinator would be Patrick Graham, potentially. If they do hire O'Connell, that they would like him to hire Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator, which I think
pay him more than what he gets in the Giants. I don't think he's a bad, they obviously have a good relationship. He's
There's no salary cap for coaches.
Good player. Yeah, he's a good player person is what it seems like. Good relationship. So yeah, I'm all for bringing Pat Graham in for DC if that's what
I've said it twice before. I'll say it again. If you want a successful team, pay your coordinators like head coaches and get guys that are head coach you have to every year those guys that you're going to have to keep replacing guys because they're going to be getting head coaching positions elsewhere.
Sure.
But until they become head coaches, you give those guys head coach money to be your coordinator. So you go get Mike McDaniel and pay him a large chunk of money to be your offensive coordinator with Kevin O'Connell as your head coach. You go get Patrick Graham or whoever they like at defensive coordinator. You pay him big enough to get him off the team that he's on now. Like, pay these guys so much. That's what I want. And I think that is going to lead to the most success for any team. That's not just the Vikings.
Right. Like, our quarterbacks coach just went to Chicago. Like, the quarterbacks coach for the Vikings, like Andy something, he just went to Chicago to be a quarterbacks coach. So he just side grade, if you will.
Probably got more money, though.
Probably got paid more. So.
Yeah.
And he probably doesn't know his future here too, but I mean,
get McCardle more money. Like, give these guys
Ryan Ficken, our special teams coordinator.
You're also showing the players and your other staff members and other future potential staff members that you're willing to take care of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Jim Harbaugh saga, I think that only time will tell if it was the right decision. We don't know. Like we said, we don't know shit. We just know what they've done in the past. Yep. So Kevin O'Connell looks like the direction of the team that we want. Younger, offensive minded, focus on the strength of the team as opposed to trying to strengthen the worst part of the team.
With Kwesi.
Background with Kwesi, background with Kirk, background with Sean McVay, background with Bill Belichick, and a guy that I think is young and as a player understands the players like McCardle, you keep McCardle. The players like these other coaches, you keep. So
Patterson, Ficken.
I think it's eventually, preemptively, I'll say it's the right move but only time will tell, because I thought Zimmer
Yeah.
was the right move when we hired him as well.
Well, he was up until 2017 or past.
I love that Bengals defense. I thought that, like, I was like, oh, the Bengals defensive coordinator. Oh, absolutely. I want him.
Right.
And then they hired him. And I was like, okay. And then we kept getting former Bengals players on our defense, and our defense was doing good. And then it just all fell apart.
2018 happened.
Yeah. And then Mike Zimmer decided my team's not allowed to have fun. I hate everyone.
Yeah.
I'm no longer talking to my GM.
This backup quarterback took me to the conference champion, but I'm never going to praise him or name him the starter.
I'm going to always just claim Teddy Bridgewater is my favorite.
Yeah, that's the only person I care about.
Anyway, that'll be it for our Vikings talk. That was the big Vikings saga. We were actually in national news, big shows talking about us, which is a huge change of pace.
Exactly. Yep.